It's time at Dish with D. That's me. Thank you for clicking on this video, making yourself priority. I am Denise. Happy St. Patrick's Day. It is Monday, and Monday on this channel, March 17th, is my weekly weigh-in and the Weight Watchers weekly technique meeting topic for this week. Hooray. All right, D. You've had a bad 3 weeks. You've had a bad month. You know, a lot went on. Even though, you know, I've gained, I do think, and this is an interesting kind of segue into, well, maybe slightly segue into the topic. But yeah, I lost kind of my habits that I've built the last couple of weeks. My food was on point, but my water and my activity was not. I kind of put that to the wayside. I'm trying to get back into it. You know, baby steps. And that's what this technique is all about. And it totally fits me because I can't just, you know, I've let it go. I can't just all of a sudden wake up tomorrow and drink my water that I was already drinking. So we'll get to that. We need to get to the weigh-in. So I was hopeful this week. So I am happy to report there was a loss this week. Did I lose everything I gained? No, I didn't. I had gained a total of 2.8 pounds. It sounds even worse saying it out loud. Let's just say 3 pounds. I round. Yeah. I don't even, I wish I had enjoyed the gain. Then I wouldn't be so like, that's probably part of the thing. It's like you gain weight, all right, you ate, at least you know, enjoyed it somewhat. But I did lose 2.2. So I was happy. I'm hoping we're back into our groove, you know. Each week I get a little bit better with my emotions. Like I said, I wasn't emotionally eating. I just emotionally wasn't doing anything else. And, you know, and that all adds up. It really does. So I'm back. I'm hoping it continues. I'm hoping, you know, like I said, I think it was a point, even last week, I think it was a 0.6 gain, which was more. Like 2.2, 2.4, really, I'm squeaking by 2.5, 6. I don't know. I consider that a maintenance. I consider that a fluctuation, but we're talking 1.2, 1. Yeah, I was not happy with that, but nothing you can do about it. You can only move on. Was I mad? Sure was. Like I said, if I had eaten and gotten that, I'd been, at least I ate. Like, I'm gaining weight and I didn't eat. You know, you'll know. But anyway, this one is building habits. Now, a habit takes time. Now, we're going to talk weight loss habits. There's lots of other habits we can build. But for the sake of, you know, what the video is, it's weight loss, Weight Watchers. It is building habits to help in our weight loss journey. Now, there are several habits building blocks that Weight Watchers talks about. You know, sleep, tracking, water, exercise, like they're big ones. And there's micro ones too. But those are the ones we seem to always struggle with. A lot of people struggle with a lot of them. I mean, you got meal planning, meal prepping. There's so many other, like, there's like little microscope, you know, ones that go in each one. But like building them, like, how do we start? Like, because it seems overwhelming. Like for me, I was slacking in my water. So instead of just like drinking all this and saying, all right, I need to drink it all. No, I filled it and I drank more each day. You have to start small. It's like somebody compared it to building a brick wall. You just build it brick by brick in order to have the structure sound wall. So in order to build a good habit, you have to put it together brick by brick. It's baby steps. Like there was also, they compared to, like, there's a picture, I don't know if she didn't show it, but she said she's going to put it on her Facebook page, like a ladder that had many rungs and a ladder that only had a few rungs. And it was harder to climb the ladder with only a few because you really had to work for it. But the little ladder with the many rungs, you made those little progress and those little steps. And the same thing with a habit. You have to start somewhere. And what they give is identify your habit or your goal. What is it you want to do? Okay, let's just say everyone's favorite one, tracking. Like that's the goal, tracking. It says break it down into steps. Like what are the steps? First of all, you have to know the food. You have to know the points of the food. You have to figure out what you're going to eat to track. And you have to actually literally track it. It's one thing to know what it is, but you literally have to put it in the phone. And what would be a great cue for that? Some people, my thing is I track, then I eat. My eating is my reward. Some people track while they eat. Some people track, the day before. Some people track at the end of the day. I don't recommend the end of the day because if you run out of points, you're like, oh, I didn't know I was over points. Well, or you can track the beginning of the day for the full day. The best advice is, I always say, is track your biggest meal first. So this way, you have all this extra stuff to play around with. Find your starting point. Like there's a goal, but where do you start? What is the cue to make you do that? For me, it's sitting down. Okay, I'm sitting down, ready to eat. Okay, that's my cue. When I set my butt in my chair, some people in between bites track, so they eat slower. There's so many different things you could put into that, and map out your steps to do your goal. Same thing with meal planning or meal prepping. You have to sit there and gather the books. You have to figure out what days you want to put certain meals. You have to map it out. It's not something you can just be like, okay, I'm just going to meal prep and I'm going to do it. Because those things seem daunting, exhausting, too much to do, and I'm just not doing it. I just don't feel like it's too overwhelming. But why don't we just one day just flip through books and get an idea, maybe elbow, dog ear the page that you want, and then maybe one day go back and see if you could break them into certain meals. So this is more of a lunch item. This is more of a breakfast. And then one day get your thing, well, let's have this one on this day, and we'll have, and then just baby steps into it. So you're not thinking it, doing, I think we don't realize how daunting it is, especially if something we've not done, to all of a sudden wake up the water. I'm going to wake up and drink 60 ounces tomorrow. Are you? Should you? No, you sit there. I always, my big thing is, I think I've told you one of my new things, and I still have, even though I wasn't drinking my water, I was still doing this, at least this, when I would come down in the morning, since I hadn't been down in 7 hours, sometimes 8, I know. I love to sleep. So that's all that time that I had nothing to drink. So the first thing I do is I take my medicine with a big 12-ounce glass of water. I take I can't remember the name of the pill my Sept doctor gave me. I think it's called Sanofi. I take my vitamin D. I take my allergy pill with a 12-ounce glass of water every day. And I make sure I finish that glass before I have my tea. And then I have my 2 cups of tea. And sometimes my water in between, because I think I still have tea up there, actually. I didn't really finish it, but I've already gotten into my water. And it's always a good day when I have to refill it. So baby steps, and you just practice that. And sometimes it's just, I think we just put way too much on ourselves. And then when we don't do it, it's oh, I'm just not doing it. Let's face it, some of these things are not easy, and they're just out of our comfort zone. So don't get on yourself because you're not doing it, but she's doing it, and never compare yourself to somebody else. Some people, and they have this thing where they have to be active. Do you ever watch somebody on let's say YouTube, television or YouTube, and they're just doing all this stuff? You're going, oh my God, watching her makes me tired. But that is innate in them. They have this, they can't sit down. They can't. So to sit there and say, but I can sit down, so I am not going to be that. I am not going to, and don't expect her. Does that make them right and you wrong because you sit down? No, it just makes you you. And some people, they have this overabundance of energy. They can't relax. I can, and I do. So but don't fault somebody because that's just who they are. They're hyperactive. They have this, or they're there's people do you ever watch these cleaning shows or cleaning channels, and they're literally, you're looking at them going, what are they cleaning? I don't see anything wrong with it. But some people have this obsessive compulsive, and it's in them. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just that's them, and they cannot see a smear out of place. Oh yeah. And then you go, oh my God, I feel like a slob compared to them. But you're not. But because you look at them and that makes you feel bad. I tend not to watch channels like that because it makes me feel bad. I can't do it. I had he's not my brother-in-law anymore. They're not married anymore. But he was a compulsive person. And when she would use, we'll just say canned vegetables. She would use a can of corn. He would literally get the pad out and he had to have 3 cans of corn in the pantry at all times. And not like they had corn all the time. But if there wasn't 3 cans of corn in there, he'd go nuts. And at his daughter's birthday party, this is, oh gosh, that's over 20 some years ago. He spent the whole party cleaning because he just had this compulsion. And I thought to myself, A, it wasn't that bad, and B, you're missing your daughter's party because you cannot relax your brain enough. It's definitely something that, like I said, everybody's made up different, but I just don't want you to feel bad because they're doing that and you're thinking, oh my God, I should be doing that. You have to be you. You gotta be you. And just like know your talents and your strengths and work on that. And don't watch somebody else and be like, I want to be like her. I finally, that took me a long time to be like how many times there's videos you can go back and watch. I have old videos of me meal planning. Oh my, I don't meal plan. I don't, and you know what? I never did prior to those videos. And I'm not sure why I thought I had to try because, well, everybody else was doing it. So I must be me. Maybe I am the doofus. It's just not me. It's just not me. Like, find something that you truly enjoy and want to do and work on that habit. I keep it basic. That's why I always say tracking and water are the 2 biggest things. I think they're movement, of course, as well. 3 things. I think those 3 things are the biggest things that make you successful in any weight loss journey is getting enough hydration, tracking and being accountable for your food, and moving your body. And like we're having a challenge here, and I put in the challenge 10, I think I call them wall push-ups or squats. You don't have to do both, but I mean, you probably could start at 5 if you've never done them. But I think people who are regular exercises, 10 is not difficult for them to do. But you have to have a starting point. I didn't say do 50. Nobody should start and do 50. No. And you don't have to do that 10 at one time. You can do 10 throughout. It's 10 per day, not per it's 10 per day. So you could do 2 here, 2 there. I'm saying you could add up. That's why you get that little checklist to sit there. You could check off how many, squats you did. If it takes you all day to do 10 squats, but you still did them in that 24-hour period. That's all you're required to do. So it's just it's just making an effort. And sometimes a building block or, a stepping stone to doing the challenge is hanging that up on the refrigerator to see it, to go, oh yeah, I do my squats. Because it's sitting staring at me. Because if you put that paper away, you're never going to remember to do it. Trust me. I know for which I speak. But yes. Let me just go over building steps. I think they're calling this week theme block party. Building small steps to a journey. Small steps yield big results. Pick a habit, break it down into micro habits. Baby steps is easier and more achievable. Because when you achieve things, you're proud of yourself and you're motivated to do it again. It's all about almost making yourself feel better because let's face it, I think a lot of people feel bad about themselves and you think, I got this weight, especially when you finally come to the realization that you have to lose weight because sometimes we're overweight and we just don't care or don't really think about it. And then when you realize I need to lose this weight, I think for me, when I went to Weight Watchers back in I think it was when I joined on the Saturday morning class. So it had to be 2016. Yeah, because it was with Smart Points. I went from Points Plus on 2013, but this was Smart Points. And I had gained weight because I wasn't at my heaviest till I went in 2016. And I didn't know I hadn't weighed myself in a while. Because if you look at it, you have to deal with it, right? So I remember going in there and sitting down and I looked at the card and it said 270. And I literally went, and I sat there and thought, it's a guy, so I finally woke up. How did I let it get that bad? What was I thinking? And I was so depressed. I was just thinking, because all I kept thinking was, I have to lose 100 pounds. And it sounds like it's almost impossible. But what did I do? I broke it down into baby steps. 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds. I didn't say I had to lose 5 pounds every week. As long as I had a loss. I didn't care if it was 0.4, 0.2, and there was a consistent loss. And I pretty much had a consistent loss because I joined right after Mother's Day. And I believe I had a consistent loss till the fall. Consistently every week. Because I followed the plan. I did what I was supposed to do. I followed my pillars. I did the plan. Like I said, I can't do that same type of plan now because I'm less weight, but then you can take a little bit of liberals when you're a little bit heavier. But yeah, and I was just consistent, and I remember seeing results, and I remember my leaders saying, my God, you lost 25 pounds. Like I didn't even, like, it was kind of like, because it was this dribs and drabs. You don't really realize that dribs and drabs add up. And that was one of the things I said when I reached goals. She's, give us, what would you say to the team? What would you say to the class? And you're like, and I said, every ounce counts. I said, if you only lost 0.2, don't say, oh, I only lost 0.2. No, 0.2 is 0.2 down. I said, 0.2 adds up. I said, it just does. And you take every little loss you can and you just build on it. Because I wasn't going anywhere, I just chipped away at it and I just lived my life. I ate the foods that I loved. I did. Now, if I had a crash diet, yeah, I probably would have lost way faster. But I lost it like I was going to live it because that was going to be me. And I knew that those foods were going to be important to me. So yeah, I definitely, every ounce counts. I know it's because we love seeing, I love seeing this 2.2. Oh, it was fantastic. But let's remember that I already gained 2.8. So having a 2.2 loss is not that big of, but it was nice to see. It's like, okay, I like seeing, you do. We love seeing the big numbers. I know we do. But sometimes we don't always get them. I always say, just chip. Make those small weight loss goals for yourself. And like I said, and there's weeks that, after, I got the initial, 45, 50 pounds off. Then there was weeks where I didn't lose, or I might have a slight little gain. But you know what? I kept at it. And I do remember the last, I think it was 10 or 12 pounds, took me like 6 months to lose. And I think I had my channel then. And I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Because when you're used to losing that way, you're like, well, what happened? Nothing happened. It's just your body is realizing it, and it just kind of holds on to it a little bit. And you have to be a little bit more tight. You can't be as loosey-goosey. Sometimes I might have been. Yeah, so it definitely was, chip. Little things, build on that. Find a habit you want to work on. Like I said, with water, like just stick to, like, I always like measured. I like to know what I'm drinking. So like certain glasses, you have those little juice glasses that are 4 ounces. Start by drinking a couple of them. So and then you get a couple of them in, and then you can move to a bigger glass, and you can have like an 8-ounce glass. Right now I have a 12-ounce glass. If I want to down some water, I usually down 12 ounces every once in a while, especially if I'm taking and I count when I take I don't take greens anymore. What am I saying? I don't take greens anymore. If I do, sometimes occasionally I do take them, so I still have the can, but in the Grunes. But when I take my collagen, I count that as water because, in my opinion, it is. You know what? Everybody has to make their own choices. Weight Watchers would say, no, it's not. It has to be pure water. You know what? I say whatever works for you, works for you. But that's what WW says. Okay. Even like movement, going out for a walk. What can you do to build that habit? How about having the right clothes, having the right shoes, getting ready, putting them by the door, making a point after my Zoom, I'm going to walk. Or some people walk during their Zoom, which is so smart. I think I'm going to do that. Because I've been listening to a lot of Zooms lately, I'm thinking, I'm going to get on my walking pad. I'm just going to, because you know what? You're habit stacking then. And you're building one habit with like another. It's like a double win. And you're getting some movement in. Is it going to be a mile and a half? Probably not. But it's going to be more if I just sat there listening to it. You have to and I take that as a win. If I got 0.43, that's a win. That's 0.43 I wouldn't have got if I sat my butt and listened to it. So look at the little things in the big picture. Now, she did share this, and I thought it was an article that they linked called How Habits Are Formed. Taking a look at the physiological process at work here. If you've ever tried to change a habit, you know how difficult it can be, but take heart. It's not impossible. Read for experts' advice, understanding how habits are formed in the first place. How habits are formed. Neurobiological level habits are formed as a result of repeating a behavior. We don't need to say who he is. Hebb's law, a basic principle is neurobiology, states that neurons that fire together fire together, wire together. Thus, the behavior that is repeated frequently will result in habit formation. She adds, whether you engage in a specific behavior, consciously or unconsciously, whatever action we repeat over time will become a habit. Interestingly, the dynamic duo also occurs when we observe a behavior over time. For example, a child who frequently watches a frustrated or angry parent eat ice cream in a self-soothing fashion often adopts similar habits as a result of merely observing the pattern over time. Let's go to replacing old habits with new ones. Manley states, one simplest way to create a positive new habit is to have a positive habit available to fill the space of an unwanted habit. For example, if a person's goal is stop eating chocolate every time anxiety arises, it is important to have a new replacement behavior, such as going for a walk, meditating, or repeating a positive mantra. That's interesting. I never thought about that. Replacing one with another. I might have learned something here. Ready to replace an unwanted habit, says Manley. It is far more difficult to find and access a healthy replacement behavior when triggers or life stressors are at work, or having a few positive replacement behaviors at the ready can promote habit change success. Hack your cues. One of the ways you can create a new habit is piggybacking them into the old one. As an example above, every habit is triggered by a cue. For example, when you get into your car, you might automatically put your seatbelt on. When you leave the house, you might instinctively pat your pockets to make sure you have your phone and your keys. The concept of piggybacking suggests tacking an extra new habit onto an old one. So for example, if you're getting ready for bed, your cue is to brush your teeth. You could add flossing and a new habit as you do the same time. Mine is using the micellar water. So I've been doing that every time. It's just, oh my God, I absolutely love that. I just look forward to, like, I could go put my micellar water on. It's like cleaning your skin, but it just feels good. Keep it positive. Many people come to think of a habit change as negative. Manley says, but when we reframe habit changes into a positive way, the shift feels more upbeat and doable. For example, if a mental shift is made, I can't stand how I look, I need to lose weight, to I want to make some shifts in my lifestyle so that I feel fit and healthier, the mindset and goals are more positive. That's true. If you want to say, I look terrible, I feel fat, you can sit there and say, I just want to get healthier. I want to get fit. That's positive. Positivity breeds positivity. A positive attitude, a positive mind, you will do the habits because you just want to. But you're going to say, that's so true, man. I didn't, you think about that. So I will, if you want to see the rest of the article, shoot me a response and I will link it for you. I don't want to put it in the thing, but if you ask me for it, I'll give it to you. So it's in the Weight Watchers blog. It's called How Habits Are Formed. It's interesting, but it's retraining your brain. And you know what? You're never too old to retrain your brain. I know we feel it sometimes, but we're not. It does take work, though. It takes like I said, and you have to make it easy. Baby steps. Like, do we let babies go from, crawling to walking? No, they have to get up on their knees. They have to crawl before they can walk. So we have to be able to do some things before we get in this habit to this new healthy habit to become a habit. We have to definitely take those steps. And you know what? We just have to work, and we have to put the work in. Yes, I'm leaving you with that. You have to put the work in. That is it. But we can make it easier. That's what you want to make it easier. So that is it for me. So how did your week go? Let me know in the comment section below. Was it good? Was it bad? What do you think of habits? Let me know in the comments as well. What new habit are you looking to form? I need to get back to my habits that I had. And let me tell you something. 3 weeks. Blown. But I'm getting back. I'm going to, like I said, I'm baby steps. I've had my water bottle with me yesterday and the day before. So it's baby steps. In fact, I did a vlog. I was shopping and I didn't bring my water bottle with me. And that, a month ago, that would have never been the case. I would have always had it with me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot and I kind of did miss it because I was like, I'm kind of thirsty. So we're doing this together, my lovelies. Like I said, water is a big one. And, I always feel like water, movement, and food accountability. They're my 3 big ones that I try to work on the most. Sleep, I kind of got that one. I don't have the, only because I have a CPAP, I don't need to worry about that. My machine keeps me, once you go asleep on a CPAP, you stay asleep. Some people might have a hard time falling asleep, but I feel like, at least for me, once I'm out, I'm out. And let me tell you something, I could drink a gallon of water before I go to bed. I am in such a deep sleep, I don't wake up. But when I do, you better believe I'm running in that bathroom. Oh. When you're in a deep sleep, those things do not wake you up, shockingly enough. But all right, my lovelies, that is it for me. If you enjoyed this video, get a big old thumbs up. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, hit that subscribe button. Join us here at Dish with D. We'd love to have you. And I have to thank you all you loved my video that I put out yesterday. And it was funny because I didn't really plan that. The idea came to me and I'm like, oh, that's a really interesting concept. I should film that. It was about the mistakes I've made, or we make. I say me because, again, I just relate everything to me. And a lot of you resonated. A few people have said it was my best video ever. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? I always find that. I will sit there and tell you that the best videos are the ones I don't plan. It's true. It's just like, it's just an idea. And there was nothing planned for that. There was nothing. I just scribbled. That's all I did. I scribbled 10 things and I filmed. It's just hilarious. It is hilarious how that can turn into... That just goes to show you. That's why a lot of times I don't like planning. That's why I never like collabs. Because it's always like you had a plan. And again, it's not who I am. That's why I love doing live videos. Oh my gosh. If I could do all these videos live, I think I would. It's easier for me just to vomit words than to sit there and have to think. So that's me. I think better. That's why my ramblings were always really fun, because I just would, if you go back to my very first videos, if you go to, on the channel, you hit videos and then you hit oldest, you'll see the very first video I ever did. It's so bad. But if you go full fast that, and if you like maybe a few videos, maybe several videos after that, I started having themes. And I would go back to them like, God, the stuff that came out of you was fantastic. Because I was concentrating on driving, and it just all like word vomit came out, and a lot of it was so good because I'm not focused on what I'm saying. I'm focused on driving, and it just all flows out. So, oh man, some good times, So that is it for me. I will see you all in a video very soon, my lovelies. Take care for now. Thumbs up.